I think today's the 20th. I don't remember. I don't fucking check. I've lost track of time after the 18th. Because on the 18th, it was when a little big incident happened. So, basically, TLDR, my siblings and I, were taking care of a cat without my parents knowing. They knew that the cat existed because it has been living in our backyard since February, and it is May now. We've discovered her around the 27th, I believe, but we didn't really acknowledge her properly until March, around my birthday. And that is because I really don't have like the full grasp of it. To be specific, I am Hmong, and Hmong people, to my understanding, are very spiritual, and they practice something similar to animism, which is the belief that all things have some sort of spiritual connection. My dad is a shaman, and my mother, I don't think she's a shaman, but she has visions. She's very spiritual, and she likes to keep connections with our culture in that department. I believe her dad, my grandpa, was a shaman. And in relation with cats, I think in Western culture, black cats are seen to be bad luck, or just indication of like bad vibes overall. I don't know how else to explain it. That having ties with my culture is just like a little superstitious cake that they've connected with. Cats are a no-no for my family. It's not like we haven't owned pets before. We've had birds, we've had fish, we've had dogs, a lot of dogs, but we've never really quite had a cat. I never got the appeal of cats, or pets in general, until we've had one ourselves within our vicinity. I've always considered myself a dog person until I started thinking, wow, I kind of want a cat, because my friend has cats around her neighborhood and she always sends pictures. My other friend recently got themselves a cat, and I was like, why can't we have a cat? Because generally there is no real loss or harm to it besides the pocket, but like that's for anything you have to be responsible with, you know. Because before, when we had our pets with the dogs, we were kids. We didn't have any money to fund for toys, treats, food, just like necessities overall, like including medical needs. There was this one dog that my dad brought home. I believe she was like a mixed breed. I just know that she had a fur coat that looked a lot like the exterior of a taro plant, so we named her Taro. She was just a puppy. She was very young and also very concerningly thin. Like you could see her ribs, you could see her bones. I believe the story was that my dad saw her abandoned somewhere like along the way to his workplace or property up in the mountains, and he decided to bring her in. Whenever he brings animals in, specifically dogs, he brings it to be the protector of our home, and it expects us little kids to train it. As you can tell with how many dogs we've had and we've never kept them, that's never gone well, because what the fuck is like little kids supposed to know how to train a dog? When we first had Taro, she was like really energetic. She would want to play, she was curious about a lot of things, but as time went on, she eventually lost that spark. I remember specifically on her last day, she was walking around using the last bit of her energy looking for a place. I didn't understand it at the time, but when we lost her in the laundry room, all of us huddled around her, and me thinking that this was something that she could get over with, or overcome, excuse me, sorry, I have like poor choice of words. I was like using a humidifier because she was having a hard time breathing. I was massaging her. I could tell that she didn't want it, probably because she knew that it was her time, and I was just so desperately latched. I don't want to cry before I go to school. I was just so desperately latched onto a possibility that she was gonna be okay, and it wasn't what I thought it was, what everyone thought it could have been. But I feel bad because I feel like she didn't want to have us watch her. She didn't want me to be bothering her while she was in her last painful moments. But I felt like I couldn't just stand there and watch. I probably didn't make it easier for her. I still feel so bad about it. At that time, nobody was home besides just the kids. My youngest brother wasn't there. He was with my parents. It's just unfortunate that my dad had to bring in an unwell dog for us to watch over and take care of while both of my parents had gone to the hospital and done all these other events where my grandma was simultaneously also having a hard time. I understand why my parents chose my grandma. I just wish that they also expressed some empathy, just like some sort of like acknowledgement and care that we were left alone with a dying dog, all of us. But now that we are older, we have money, I have money, I felt like we could have made this work if we were just given a chance to. Like, yeah, sure, it's gonna be hard, but anything that you're gonna be raising and taking care of are gonna have its challenges. And I'm sure they felt that way too when it came to having 6 kids at a very young age, mind you, because they're in their early 40s now. On May 18th, somewhere around that time frame, my mom came back from her work trip from LA, and we all had a sit down, because my older sister was stressed about the whole situation, and she couldn't stop egging on about, we're gonna get in trouble. It was because the cat, Maple, she was in heat. We were under the impression that she was spaded, but then again, we've never had a cat before. This was honestly our fault for not doing proper research, because a spaded cat, I thought was just for strays, but I suppose it could be for house cats too, was their ear had to be nicked. Mabel didn't have that. We were under the impression that she was formally owned because 1, she was friendly with humans. 2, she was very, very thin when we first found her, so we thought that she was recently abandoned. 3, she showed up out of nowhere, and we thought she might have been lost. I suggested going around and asking if anybody was missing a cat, but we live in a predominantly white town. We've had bad experiences with racist neighbors before. I've been followed home, one by an adult man and the second one by a bunch of middle school white kids. It was around the aftermaths of COVID at that time. I should probably go right now, but there's just a lot to unpack.